She did, but Dave, I spoke with him and he apparently reset everything, so we shouldn't have any issues.
It's not live streaming.
Do you want me to get the iPad upstairs, just as like a secondary recording device?
Nothing's there. Should be coming up. It's not. Oh, I got a recorder.
Do you want a second one?
No,
That's gonna do.
yeah.
We'll be using the small recorder today, so if everyone can do their best to speak very clearly into the mic, it'll make Deb's minutes writing later on very
Yeah, make
simple.
sure all your mics are on too.
It's hard to make out with a small recorder sometimes, but. Thanks, Deb.
All right, I'll open this regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting to order, March 16th at 7:03. Stand for the to the flag, please. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, looks like we have a full house. Don't need to seat any alternates. First item on our agenda under new business is site plan modification application. Oh, is it okay?
She needs to seat some people.
Sit,
You have
okay.
two regular members that are not here tonight.
Pardon me?
You have two regular members that
Oh,
aren't
Rich.
here.
I forgot Rich, yeah.
And Robin.
Okay, so we still don't need to seat anyone, do we?
See Alex for Rich and Robin and
Not yet, okay. New business, it's 56 Main Street South, Sitco, and I need a motion to table that since the application came in last Thursday, late, Wednesday or Thursday, and staff has not had an opportunity to review.
So motion to table that to the next regular meeting?
Okay, Jason, is there a second?
Second.
Bob, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next item on our agenda, under other business, is the Memorial Bench Southbury. Everyone received the data, thank you. Very nice and detailed. Anyone need to review it further? Anyone have any comments or questions? We don't need a draft for this, right?
No, you don't need a draft.
This is just a referral.
We're just making a motion
Yes.
to refer positively. or
So I
negatively.
need a motion to refer.
Motion for a positive referral to the Board of Selectmen.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, the next resolution is a lot line, I believe.
Excuse me, out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to recuse myself from this particular item. I know the residents of 88 Berkshire Road very well, and I've done business with them, so.
Okay, then we will seat Peter. You want to stay seated? Yes. FOI, doesn't matter.
Get up and get out of it.
Yes. All right. Anyone have any input, any comments, any questions? Got the specs online? Okay, the resolution. Whereas at its meeting of March 19th, the Southbury Planning Commission received a request from Joseph Camaros for approval of a lot line revision between Lot 13 to 16 with an existing single-family home and Lot 9 to 1222 with an existing single-family home and detached garage. Both lots have frontage on Berkshire Road and Quassapeg Trail, which is part of Berkshire Estates Summer Colony. Revision is shown on the maps entitled Data Accumulation Plan depicting lot line revision 76 and 88 Berkshire Road, Southbury, Connecticut, prepared by Stuart Summers, September 19th, prepared for Joseph Camaros. Whereas pursuant to Administrative Policy Number 1, Paragraph B6 of the subdivision regulations, a lot line revision in an approved subdivision is subject to the approval of the Planning Commission. Whereas these lots were divided as part of the Berkshire Estates Summer Colony in 1920, and whereas both lots continue to satisfy the zoning regulations for this R20 zone with regard to lot area size and shape, and whereas the Housatonic Valley Health District found the proposal to be in compliance with the applicable regulations and code. Now therefore be it resolved that the request for a lot line revision between Lot 13 to 16 and Lot 9-1222 is approved subject to the following administrative requirements. Title block shall be changed to correctly identify the lot numbers. Presentation of 1 Mylar and 3 copies of the final map shall be submitted to the signature of the chairman of the Planning Commission prior to filing land records. The conveyance of documents shall be filed with the map. An electronic version of the approved map shall be provided to the Land Use Department. And I have a motion to approve this as presented, this resolution as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in
Make a
favor?
motion.
Pardon me?
Jason did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Similarly, this is for Holly Hill Lane, Beecher. Okay, same process. Whereas at its meeting today, March 19th, the Southbury Planning Commission received a request from Scott Beecher for approval of a lot line revision between Lot 5, is that 51B?
That's
5LB,
Yep, you got it.
with an existing single-family home, and Lot 4LB with an existing single-family home. Both lots have frontage on Holly Hill Lane, which is a part of the Ledgebrook Estates subdivision. The revision is shown on maps. Data accumulation plan depicting lot line revision 216 and 290 Holly Hill Lane, Southbury, Connecticut, prepared by Stuart Summers for Scott Beecher. Whereas pursuant to Administrative Policy Number 1, Paragraph B6 of the subdivision regulations, a lot line revision is an approved subdivision is subject to the approval of Planning Commission. Whereas these lots were approved as part of the Ledgebrook subdivision in 2001 by the Planning Commission, and whereas both lots continue to satisfy the zoning regulations for this R60 zone with regard to lot area, size, and shape, and whereas the Housatonic Valley Health District on 3/1/2024 found the proposal to be in compliance with applicable regulations and code, now therefore be it resolved that the request for a lot line revision between 5LB and Lot 4LB is approved, subject to the following administrative requirements. Title block shall be changed to correctly identify the lot numbers. Presentation of 1 Mylar and 3 copies of the final map shall be submitted to the signature of the chairman of the Planning Commission prior to filing on the land records. The conveyance document shall be filed with the map, and the electronic version of the approved map shall be provided to the Land Use Department. Is there a motion to approve based on this read resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, any comments, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Where's Bob?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck. That's Mr. Beecher. Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Mr. Harrison is back. Okay, we're up to Oldfield Road. Again, it's a lot line revision.
We currently do not have Health Department approval for Oldfield Road.
For Oldfield Road, do not.
Correct, so,
It says it, doesn't say it on here. Well, it says it has it on here, but does not.
yeah, it was supposed to remain highlighted just to indicate that
It's still
the
not
Health Department
received.
approval wasn't received.
Okay, so we will have a motion to table this to our next meeting, which is April 16th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are up to Affordable Housing Subcommittee report.
The boss.
Alex?
What's that? Oh, the affordable house, sorry. It's like, wait, but we haven't done, but we have. So we met and had Sharon Wirt from the Southbury Affordable Housing Alliance present on their group and their goals. She gave us a list of connections and assistance for further information of just different people, different programs, different people she's worked with to get more information, so that I'm going to follow up on that. Jordan and I still need to talk about rewording. I apologize, I got your call late this afternoon and I was busy up until 5.
Not a problem at all.
So
Absolutely.
Jordan and I have to follow up on rewording the Public Act 1323 and checking in on that. We also discussed just identifying a number of town properties. That will be our next meeting. We're going to talk about the number of town properties that we might pass on to the Planning Commission to encourage development or proposals for affordable housing sites.
And just to add to that point, we did make a referral from this commission to the Board of Selectmen that we do reword the language in that special act. This Thursday's meeting of the Board of Selectmen, I will be in attendance to kind of report to them as to our purpose and our goals for the rewording of this special act. So if there's anything else in the meantime that you want to touch base with me with respect to that, please let me know, give me a call. But otherwise, yeah, just look for the Board of Selectmen meeting this Thursday.
What's the purpose of the rewording?
By all means.
Go ahead, Jordan, you can speak to it, I'm sure. as
So
well.
essentially, right now, the special act allows for Southbury to take ownership of that property for the purpose of housing. However, if Southbury wanted to lease to a nonprofit, then the restriction of housing immediately becomes senior-only housing. As a result, we've not really had many developers or really any developers who have an appetite for that type of housing. The state funding and the federal funding isn't really in that realm anymore, so things are more moving towards affordable housing, and the goal will be to hopefully remove the wording for senior housing, limiting us to only senior housing to make it more broad-scape and attract more developers to potentially operate with Southbury in this capacity and get an affordable housing or development of any type that this commission deems appropriate in that area.
So it just opens up all the options? Is that what it does?
Well, so that sort of what used to be Pierce Hollow,
Yes.
that area in particular was designated that it had to be senior housing if it was going to be leased. And so that restricts it to kind of to development. So certainly from an Affordable Housing Commission perspective, the recommendation would be that if we want to target that area for, or open that up for possible development for affordable housing, the only way to do that would be to reword this public act.
Okay. And the representation you had there for this discussion, that's a nonprofit or for-profit?
Oh, the discussion of Public Act 1323 was entirely separate from the presentation from the Southbury Affordable Housing Alliance. So those two things were separate. We had recommended, the committee had recommended the rewording a number of months ago, separate from other groups or discussions.
Okay.
But
are they-
additionally, the Southbury Affordable Housing Alliance came and presented on their mission and their goals to develop, and the work that they're doing to develop affordable housing in Southbury,
And they are for-profit or nonprofit?
nonprofit.
Thank you. Okay,
A quick question, if I may.
sure.
So the Public Act 1323, we're going to the Board of Selectmen to ask them to recommend changing it, but this is a state public act, or is this an ordinance that we're calling a public act?
This is a state public act
So what are we asking the Board of Selectmen to do?
to coordinate with legislators.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions? Thank you for your work.
Mhm.
Okay. Under correspondence,
No, don't go that far.
Okay.
Remember, you have to vote to add the zoning referral.
there's a request to amend our agenda. We would need a motion to do that. for, is it Willembrook? Okay. Thank you.
Comes from a Chinese
To add this-
fortune cookie.
Can
I
thank God
wish.
for that one.
So, to add the zoning referral 8-3AB to the agenda under other business for Willow Creek Estates, PDD number 19, text amendment and site plan modification, adding a garage to the property. That was that 48-page referral we got? Wow.
Yeah, the 48 pages, that's much to do with the language of the regulations. They have to modify the text ever so slightly just to include a new building description. You guys got the full text copy, so feel free to save it if you want to ever peruse the text and regulations at your own leisure. But the applicants are here. They're looking just for a garage structure.
Jordan, before we go too far, I'll make a motion to add it to the agenda.
And I'll second that.
Appreciate that, thank you.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then would this come back to this commission after we refer it to zoning, or that's it?
That's it. They referred it to you, and your goal right now is to hear the applicant, review the application, and see its alignment with our POCD, effectively. And if you feel that the application and its merits align with the POCD and aren't in contrast, then you can send a positive referral to the zoning commission, and they will take up the PDD modification and text modification at their next meeting.
Now, will they request inland wetlands review, or will they, the zoning?
So as of right now, based on the site plan that's been submitted, there are no wetlands purview that need to be addressed with respect to this because they are outside of the upland review area that would kick off the review process for inland wetlands. So as long as they maintain
Them to say
that.
that they're no
Oh, the site plan
wetlands.
says that.
Okay,
Mhm.
and also what about health department, since they're gonna be bathrooms?
Health Department will have to submit approval, and zoning will not approve unless that is received. And similarly, that ends up falling on the shoulders of the zoning department, because we can't issue permits unless we get these things in-house as well.
Is there anything else, so that when we make the referral, we can mention that we refer it not subject to, because it already is subject to,
With considerations?
yes, of the health department approval, and what else? Lighting, anything?
I mean, really, it's the aesthetic that I'd say that you guys would want to maintain, and the applicant has pretty much indicated that that's their goal for the property.
Yeah, it's very thorough, looks good to me.
Mhm.
So we'll need a motion to,
Well, the applicant's here if you'd like to hear from them today, if anyone has any questions. Yes?
it's
Wonderful.
not
Thanks,
a
guys.
public hearing.
Hello, everyone. Raj and Jill Bhatia, 506 and 522 North Georges Hill Road, Willow Creek Farm and Willow Creek Estates. We're looking to put a 2,000-square-foot garage on the farm property. We need it for farm storage and vehicle storage and tractor storage and everything you can imagine. The location we chose was already approved in the PDD as a manure management area, so an asphalt slab essentially previously. We're essentially looking to now put a 2,000-square-foot conventional wood frame structure on there, keeping in line with the aesthetics of the farm, so same roof, same type of siding, same look and feel. That's pretty much it.
Will you have to put that manure processing somewhere else? or-
That's already been taken care of on the other side. We actually have it trucked out, and this has been going on for 20 years now. So we don't do much. It comes out every week, twice a week.
Premises, okay. Anyone have any questions?
The 48-page submission was only to put up a garage?
Well, 2,000 square feet.
Yeah, I read about the garage, then I read about the stables, then I read about the house, then I read about,
Already up.
All pretty standard as,
just for the garage.
precisely,
Thank you very much.
not a problem.
They could wallpaper the garage with the
Yeah, I know, with the paper.
Okay. Everyone has reviewed it and has no further questions. Entertain a motion.
Motion for a positive referral to zoning.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you. Have a good night.
Enjoy.
It'll be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, George.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
I couldn't believe it. I read the,
Okay.
every time I read the thing, it said 2,000 square foot house.
We'll focus on the pertinent information next time. That's a completely fair point. Thank you for bringing that up, because that's right. It was a lot of review.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
Goodness.
I'm
Next
saying,
time.
are they tearing down the house and building a new house? Where, you know,
Only pertinent information next time, I can assure you.
All right, under correspondence now, the memo for administrative request. The memo is coming from,
Myself.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we can
it's
start.
been our tendency with something as simple process, simple approval, to have staff handle it totally, and we're happy to have staff that can do that.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you for your detail, thank you for your
No, happy to be here.
communication. It's been great.
Really, the purpose for this, and this was really brought about when Judy, my predecessor, was in my position. The special exception aspect of our regulations really draws a lot of attention to quick change of tenants, and they end up having to come through a 2-month application process. It was discussed that if the land use department can review previous approvals of a particular use and can draw similarities to that approval with respect to what's being proposed with the new tenant, then an administrative approval could be allowed from this commission as long as everything is in with alignment with what was previously approved. With respect to this application, this is, if you remember, 519 Heritage Road came in last year for a text zone amendment change and a map amendment change. They went from the B3 zone to the new B3E zone. Their purpose was kind of in line with what we're doing here today. They wanted to expedite the review process for simple things like offices and retail and just anything that's been operating in their tenants. This has been a well-established building, business use. The tenants have been well-established for many, many years. So they changed a lot of the schedule approvals from just special exception to permitted. So if an application came in that aligned with that, then it would fall under the administrative approval. They ended up missing one, and it was along the line with clinics. Admittedly, it's not something we would want to be administratively approved. However, there is a clinic that's in one of the units on one of their parcels, on parcel H, and they are moving across the parking lot to another building that's a slightly bigger unit into parcel G, technically all under the same address. However, because they are speech pathology and they provide an occupational therapy use, it falls under our new definition for medical clinic. As a result, turns out they're right in the special exception process that they were in before. So I spoke with Mark Broussard, the applicant, and the vice president for Heritage Eagle Association over there, and said I would look into the application, look into the approval, and see if an administrative approval would be permissible by this commission, just based on the similar use and the fact that they're just moving into a new unit that just happens to be split by a parcel divider, even though it's under the same kind of business zoning scope.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
So would approval of that then allow for a medical or dental clinic
No.
to go in?
No, so in those approvals, it's always written in that change of use or expansion of use will require approval from this commission.
I guess that would be my question then. Would it be considered a change of use if it's approved
Yeah.
under a medical dental clinic?
So that's kind
Even
of-
though it's not
yeah,
a medical dental clinic?
Exactly, and
right?
that's kind of my purpose for bringing it into you, because it's an approved business use right now, and they're moving to a new tenant. Technically, it's not gonna be an approved use today, but given common sense, it's already been an approved use. So if they were changing their business at all, expanding their business at all, that would require them to come into this commission. It would be a statement use modification, just for your purposes, so we understand kind of what they're doing, if it had traffic implications, if there was new, site development that needed to go along with that, that would need to come back before this commission. If a new clinic does try and open up in that area, outside of this one that was well-established and approved already, they would have to come before this commission.
Anyone else? I think this is a good move to speed up the process here.
And I will continue to report to this commission
Okay.
as these cases come up.
Motion to authorize staff to administratively approve this, process this request for the relocation of the tenant, 519 Heritage Road. Yes? Second? All in
Nobody
favor?
likes the second but me, I guess.
Ron, it's you today. Yep.
Okay, the next one, administrative request for change of tenant, 775 Main Street South, very similar. Well, actually, it fits more.
This one honestly
It's
fits
better.
more. It's a jewelry store going into a jewelry store. They just haven't operated in a while. It's been a vacant tenant for a long time. It's gonna be the Michaels Jewelry, what previously was the Gail O'Neill Fine Jewelry. It's kinda in that area where Lucas Local currently is. So it's pretty straightforward. It's the PDD, well-established
Yeah.
parking. So
Yeah.
if this commission felt so inclined.
No change of use.
Mhm.
Okay, a motion to approve
So moved?
or to authorize the staff to administer this, process this approval. Thank you.
Keep it going, Ron.
You can, I'll give you a chance to say something. Put your name on the paper.
All right, I'll second it then.
There you go. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're up to the bridge reconstruction, Poverty Road over the Pomberog River. I did ask some questions, and thank you, Jason. I wanted to know who to sign the specs, and we didn't have that with us, but anyway, Close, Jensen, and Miller, PCs. I wondered why they weren't A2, which is more specific engineering presentation, and I don't understand why we're not requesting that. Focused-
So, right now, they're not in the full site plan review stage. These are construction renderings. This is,
They know that,
oh yeah, they'll absolutely be submitting full surveys of the area, delineating where staging will occur, delineating where site boundaries need to be established, if any easements need to be essentially signed off from adjoining property owners.
so this is not preliminary, yes?
I was at a meeting Monday, Monday, and there was talk that they were coming, the people that are doing this, or the Department of Roads, or whoever is doing it.
They're
is
not
gonna
doing,
have-
it's going out to bid, they're not doing it. It's-
Okay. There's gonna be a meeting in Heritage Village in Sarah Cook Hall. I think it's next month.
April, yep.
And there's a meeting here at night on the same day with the people, so they must have some kind of plans.
For
I
the
mean,
same,
Pardon me?
for the same
Yeah, for the bridge.
Well,
Right.
There is a plan, the specs, which will go out to bid, yeah.
This is the public comment phase of the project.
Okay.
So there's still much to
But they're
be
gonna
done.
show us something.
Precisely. They're gonna show you something similar to the
Yeah,
draft
where
plans.
they're putting a cul-de-sac on Poverty Road.
Yep.
and Widening the bridge and all of that. Okay.
Mhm, precisely. So we're still in the public comment phase of this, so Public Works is receiving comment, working with entities like Region 15, and, we have parks in that area as well. So Public Works has been very diligent, they've been doing a great job. We just got done with the Purchase Brook Culvert project, so they're very busy these days, but the fact that they're bringing this to you guys so early and trying to get your opinion on something like a road closure like this is just kind of proof that they're trying to be as forthright and exposed as possible with respect to a big project like this.
Will we be getting some input from Park and Rec also, because the park is, that's a very active park there. And I would suggest, or,
We currently don't have a
Request.
director of Public Works, or, I'm sorry, the Parks Department, but
don't they meet anyway, or do?
I'd be happy to reach out to them and see if we can get a comment from them in regards, or to what degree Public Works has already been
Yeah.
working with them, because I would imagine they have been. They've
We
pretty
should
much
get
touched on, but I'd be happy to confirm that for you.
Something
In
written.
And
In
besides,
addition to, right, there's like isn't there a private Little League
Yes.
program, or even what's what's younger than Little League, but isn't there?
T-ball.
I think right, there's private, like, T-ball groups that use that, or is that
I
all
don't know
through
about
Parks and
T-ball.
Rec?
I know
It would all be through Parks and Rec because they would have to
Correct.
Yeah,
get permission to utilize the fields.
And
Still
there's a
town
trail
property.
there,
Yeah, yeah.
and, yeah, the trail
I'm
is, there's
thrilled
a trail
there's
there. also.
sidewalks on here.
Yeah.
and then the other problem I see is the school,
Yeah.
Yes,
because I know I travel that road in the morning.
Mhm.
And when you travel that road in the morning, the parents are all lined up all the way back to the bridge, and you gotta like squeeze by them.
So I spoke with the Director of Public Works today, actually, with regard to that, and I won't say anything concrete. Nothing concrete was yet afforded to me, but they have been in discussions with Region 15. The discussions have been positive as far as improvements to that area. Whether that means utilizing the park from a staging perspective, again, no concrete information has really been divulged as of yet, but Public Works is working with Region 15 to see how that area can be improved, outside of just the lane closure, because that's an outsized issue. That's an issue as a result of kids have to get off, and a number of parents need to line up somewhere. So if Public Works in these discussions can not only improve the bridge, not only improve the circulation, but also improve the park and improve how things have been operating with respect to that school, that's kind of,
it's
I
the
mean, the
intro.
buses go there with 1 or 2 kids on them. Meanwhile, there's, like 20 cars.
yeah, I always took the bus, so I don't know.
Has anyone reached out to the bus companies? I'm
Can't hear you.
hoping that Region 15 and Public Works have also reached out to the bus companies as far as what they might need to plan for.
That's a good idea.
That's fair, yeah. I'll touch base with Blake and see kind of to what degree the bus company has been brought into the conversation, or if it's kind of Region 15 down.
Right, that may be through
That
Region
may,
15,
exactly,
but
kind of my thinking,
again,
but to
I
confirm
think
that,
advance notice to
And the bus
parents and
companies are
to,
private, so they would
Yeah.
have to be.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm concerned with where they're gonna store all the construction equipment, all the construction vehicles, because if they use the park, that's gonna be a significant impact. Anyway,
I don't know, but I would guess that they would do it on the left-hand side. I mean, going
That's the
from
school.
town,
That's a
no,
school parking lot.
once you get beyond the school, there's space there. It's not good space, don't get me wrong, for some reason or other, they dug like a well there.
Retention pond.
Yeah, they dug the retention pond there.
That can't be used, that area, for that reason. Well,
I don't know, that's
We
their
need more-
problem,
we
not
need-
mine.
we need more information, it'll come. Also,
well, really, for your guys' consideration, the reason this was brought to you is mainly from the road closure standpoint. Jeff had actually requested that this commission be brought into the fold as it relates to the road closure. Public Works, I have no doubt, is gonna be able to maintain stage. They're gonna go through every avenue necessary because it's their job and they're the professionals at it. They will touch base with every federal and government entity that's necessary in order to get permits. The engineer that they end up utilizing for the project will spearhead the entire permitting process and the engineering process and down to staging and erosion controls. I have no doubt that they're gonna put forth a great product, because so far, that's what we've gotten here in Southbury. However, really, this commission should focus on what, if anything, should be considered with respect to the road closure. Should we improve it? How anyway? Is it something you guys aren't looking for? You think it's a bad thing? Really, just information related to that. Do we do landscape plantings to beautify the lane closure? There's only a couple residents on that area. As far as access circulation, do you guys need information as far as that goes? That's really where the conversation should be focused if you guys are,
There's houses immediately to, if you're coming from Southbury towards the village, there's houses immediately to the left, there's a development there.
Yep, the cul-de-sac, yep.
Yeah, that cul-de-sac, that's there, and,
They wouldn't be impeded by the Poverty Road closure. They would just have a new way of getting to Heritage Road.
yeah, well, I mean, during the construction, it'd be,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everything's going to be affected as a result of construction. And we felt this when the Heritage Road Bridge was
Yeah.
closed, right? Everyone had to figure out a way to,
That was a little easier, I think. I think that when that bridge closed, that was a little easier because they closed one lane at a time. But this is,
quite different, yeah. But we'll have Heritage Road, you know, as a,
Detour.
that's exactly what they're gonna have to
Detour.
do,
Yep.
yeah.
so.
There also was discussion of having a sidewalk because it's so close to the library. I wonder if they're considering doing that at the same time?
So the sidewalk in this plan is to be expanded on. It's currently just about 4 feet, so they're gonna expand it another foot. So increasing the pedestrian travel capability of that bridge. They're looking at improvements to the park, they're looking at improvements to that closure area through landscaping and anything like that. So if there's anything that this commission feels they should consider, just let me know and it'll get passed along.
So that's,
So I
in
don't-
our minutes tonight, they will get a copy of that to see what our concerns were. The staging, the storage, the traffic, Region 15, Health Department. I know you said Army Corps of Engineer, DEEP, because of protection of the river and the wildlife. Yeah. Go ahead.
The sidewalk in that area comes down from Gainfield, right? And then, but there's nothing on that Ewald
No.
Park side, right?
No, it cuts across
Cuts
before
across,
it gets to
yeah.
the bridge. And that's
So-
where it will remain.
And that's where it will remain,
Mhm.
okay, all right.
Anyone else can think of any concerns we might want to transfer or communicate to?
I have not even considered the landscaping, I would want to look and see.
They'll have to submit a plan?
Yeah.
It goes to
Yeah.
public comment in
Yeah.
April. If you
Yeah.
guys have
So that's,
additional considerations and we touch base during the April meeting, I think there's still time for these things to be considered and brought
Great.
forth.
Public comment, will there be a public hearing?
I mean, they have to go through their permitting process. If during the, I know particularly if during the wetlands application process, they deem it to be a significant activity, which I would probably think they would, then it would go to a public hearing during the wetlands application.
Okay.
But I would wager that the public comment phase of the whole project is really kind of the outsized public hearing portion for the entire project. And that's kind of the purpose that it's being brought forth.
Anyone else have any concerns or comments or areas of concern?
Not at this point.
When will we see this again?
We can pick this discussion up at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to hear more about the public comment in April, too. So if that public comment, I think it happens, it's like on the 20th,
I
22nd,
know I was told it's the end of April,
end of April. So we may have our meeting before the public comment.
and it's gonna be 7 o'clock here. And is it 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock at Heritage Village?
Okay, next item on our agenda is the continued discussion for First Light Solar Project. I've done some more research on that. I think everyone got a copy of what was in last week's paper about the 38th Winter of Eagle viewing. And when they started having the viewing location, the viewing at that location, eagles were an endangered species. Since then, they've become, right now, they're on a watch list. That's it. In other states and other locations where solar farms have been constructed, where there are either migratory birds or eagles, they're just beginning to collect data. There are federal regulations for permits, but they were referring mostly to wind farms. And they had a meeting, they had a conference on this on the 13th of this month to include, because it was just kind of casually referred to include solar farms. So, you want to talk about your meeting with First Light is coming to our next meeting on the 16th of April.
Yeah, we should have,
Prepare then to request that they do, at the very least, account before and after, and not start construction until the fledglings have left, which is May, and that not being addressed is also the migratory bird. You can go there and see the migratory birds. They dive there, and other data indicates that when there's a solar farm, the reflection next to water, they crash into it. There have been some counts on that, and more than 50% of the carcasses the deaths have been caused by crashing into the solar panels. So I think that, and they are a very recent, First Light owns this and established this viewing area. And so I would think they would be very responsible and cognizant of their responsibility here. So we'll see what they have to say on April 16th, but also you've spoken with them. You want to say?
So the first selectman and I sat down with a number of representatives from First Light as well as their solar developer from Davis Hill. They were incredibly forthright with the information that they brought to us. It was backed by data. It was historical. They had the information on how these things operate near some of their solar farms that are adjacent to water bodies. They had data on the outsized issues that some solar farms have been having with respect to the lake effect, which predominantly, I was informed, happen in desert areas. Similarly, they occur when it's like they call it getting deserted, and it's when migratory birds will go so far off their standard pattern because they think that a solar farm in the middle of a desert is a water body. If they don't, unfortunately, crash into it, they end up going so far out of their normal way that they can't get back to a water source, and they end up being stranded. So they brought forth a lot of information on how that really isn't the case, in their opinion, when it's a solar farm along a water body. They seem to think that the birds really understand the difference between water and solar fields, unless, again, you're desperate and you're in an area where that's the only option, similar to a desert. But we requested that they be, available to speak to this commission and answer any questions that you have. I believe they were more than happy to oblige on the count as well as the timeline. They were more than happy to oblige on the fledgling timeline and make sure that everything is out of the nest, and then they can essentially start construction.
Would they be doing the count or someone else?
That would be a question for them.
Someone
at the meeting
independent, okay.
Next month. I think we'd be able to talk to them and see what, if anything, they're willing to do with respect to the count, and just kind of see where this goes. But they were very informative. They have a lot of smart people who've been doing this in a lot of different states, in a lot of different capacities, and dealt with a lot of different issues. So I'm excited to have them come in. I'm happy that they were willing to speak with us and answer your questions.
Will the Audubon people be here also?
We've spoken to Bent of the River Audubon, which we learned during that meeting is not the Audubon that oversees the Chippewa Eagle Observatory. That'll be the Connecticut Audubon. When I reached out to them, they essentially informed me if they have any concerns, they'll notify us. They'll review the specs and they'll notify us if we have any concerns. It's been over a month and we haven't heard anything. I intend to reach out to them again just to confirm for certain they don't have anything to say with respect to this.
See if they could submit something to you in writing that they have no concerns.
Pardon me? What did you say?
I said, see if the Audubon people can submit something in writing that says that they have no concerns. Or if they do have concerns, what those concerns are.
Yes. They want to make sure that we know, because I've spoken with them and also with the Western Bird and also with the local Audubon, and they want to make sure that they're not, they're not taking the position that they're opposed to green energy, because this is, I think, the second largest in the state of Connecticut hydroelectric producer of energy, so it's an important
Yeah,
project. And so they're kind of a little bit conflicted from what, that's my opinion.
Well, I just want to know that they, something in writing that says, yes, we've reviewed it and we have no concerns, or we reviewed it and these are our concerns.
Understood.
We
Rather
we
than-
do have a letter from Southbury Land Trust and Bent of the River Audubon saying, kind of representing what I just said.
Yeah, they reviewed it, and they didn't have any concerns as well.
I would, what you stated about the desert,
Mhm.
I have other information that it's, when it's next to water, they don't know the difference. So that's, I understand that would be First Lake's position, but
Mhm.
there's other data that does not, that supports when it's next to water.
I think it's perfectly respectable that we have a conversation about it. So I think having them in for that would be
They
best.
call lake effect hypothesis the birds have, whatever that is.
Okay.
But there is a Migratory Bird Treaty Act, MBTA, and eagle nests are further protected by the Bold and Golden Eagle Protection Act. These are federal acts, BGEPA, so I gave you a copy.
Mhm.
Okay, so I think we need to look into that too, because the permits are needed for wind farms now, and they kind of allude to solar farms, but for permits, but it's not, I don't know what happened at at the conference on the 13th. No idea. But more information will be, I'm sure, presented by First Light
Mhm.
in April.
And I
If
can
anyone
assure
else
you,
wants to
yeah,
do any research, it would be wonderful.
they'll definitely be getting all the necessary permits for that project.
Jordan, when you said you reached out to Bent of River, you said that it's different than the Connecticut, than the Chippewa Valley. Did you reach out to them as well? To the
Yeah, so-
Connecticut Audubon as well?
Correct.
Okay. got it.
Connecticut,
Just-
didn't mean to confuse.
But
Bent to the
they-
I
River,
just got
They
confused.
did
I don't know if you
respond.
confused anybody else.
We do have a letter from Bent of the River
Bent to the River responded immediately.
and the Southbury Land Trust.
Same with Southbury Land Trust, they jumped on this immediately, they wanted to get a response in hand, they got the chance to review the plans. Once they reviewed the plans, they didn't have any concerns. Similarly, Bent to the River informed us that we are actually not the Audubon of the Chippewa Dam, and you guys should correspond with Connecticut Audubon, and that's when I reached out to them,
Got it.
and they said, we'll be in touch if we have any concerns. I will absolutely reach out to them. And just see to what degree they're willing to comment on this. If really, if Nancy, your position is true and they don't want to step in, I'll let you guys know that I had a conversation with them and they didn't want to step in. I have no idea what way it'll go, but I'd be happy to reach out to them.
There are letters from Audubon and Southbury Land Trust. Do you want copies? Yeah.
Send those to you, Alex.
Anyone else?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Any questions? Okay. What did I do with my agenda? Okay, anyone ready to, I was not in attendance on February 20th, so I'll need someone else to review, make a motion, any comments, any edits for the minutes of February 20th?
I'd like to make a motion, we accept the minutes of February 20th.
Okay, any discussion, any edits? All in favor?
Aye.
Oops, I don't vote. Okay.
An abstention.
Any other business anyone wants to bring up right here and now? Welcome to, you may have been at the last meeting, I was not there.
Yeah, I was here
Welcome.
the last meeting.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, thank you.
Welcome. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn. Second that one, Kit?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Alex, before you take off today, do you mind?
Oh, yeah, I can